Good afternoon and welcome to Easy Drupal. Today I'm going to show you how to create a simple view. Now you may remember in the last video that we set up some dummy content. So I've got 50 items of type news and we are going to do a view to list that content for the front end viewer. So it's quite a common thing to do, especially for a news page. It's basically what a view is. It's a listing page of content, which you can then sort and add different fields to. So I'll show you how to do that with a simple version, and then in a later video we can go into a bit more detail. Okay, to get to views, this is in Drupal 9, but actually it's very similar to Drupal 7, so you can follow these steps for that as well. So we go structure, views, and this will give you a list of the views you've currently got in your admin. There are already some in here, some that I've created in my demo site, and also some that you get as part of other modules. So we're going to create a new view. So go add view. We have to give it a name. So we can call it views. We can give it a description, and this just appears on the admin. There you go, lists content of type news. So in the next section, we decide what it is we're going to show in this view. So views is basically a database query builder. So we want to show content, so we could show users, taxonomy terms, various other things if we wanted to. Content is the most common, and we want to select a particular content type, and in this case we're going to go with news, and we can then sort it by newest first, oldest first, or title. We'll go by newest first, that's the logical way to do it. We've got two options to create. We can create a page, which is a listing page, or we can create a block which is used on other pages. So we'll do both. For a page, you need to give it a title. It's already got that, a path, news, and then a format. So we are going to go with a table of fields. And you'll see that in a moment when we get through to the next step. This is the amount of items to display and whether or not to use a pager. Again, on the next step, we'll see a bit more information. And for the block, we are going to do an unformatted list of titles. Let's do fields. I always prefer using fields because it's more flexible, but you can do whatever you wish. We won't use a pager on the block. Save that. Okay, so this is the view that we've just created. It's a good idea to save it actually straight away, just so that if you need to come back to it, it's definitely there. And yeah, most of what you're going to be dealing with is these two panels here. We won't go into the advanced section in this tutorial. So again, you've got your title, your format, the settings for that format, the fields. These are the fields that we're going to be displaying, and the filtered criteria, which I'll explain in a moment as well. So this is the page. If we click on the block, we've got another set of settings for the block. Let's go back to the page, and at the bottom here you'll see a summary of what your current view looks like. It won't be formatted like the front end of your site, it's just the actual data itself. So let's add a couple of extra fields to this. You can search for your fields in here. We want to know the date published, and we also would like to have the body content. We apply this to all displays. Now, if you've got multiple displays, you might not want to have it applying to all of them, but in this case we do. So then it asks you to configure the fields. So if we add a label, it will say body. Well, we're going to say summary for our field label. We won't exclude it from display. You can exclude it from display and then reuse that field in other content. That's again one for the advanced. For the rest of these settings, just accept the defaults for the moment. That was the body field configured, and this is the date published field. Again, we'll create a label. Let's just call this date. Again, we'll just use the defaults, but you can do things like select different date formats if you wish. Again, apply all displays, and you'll see that our view has changed. We've now got a title, a summary, and a date. Now that summary is obviously too long, so we want to change that. So we can go back into that field and we want to use trimmed, which will trim the content to 300 characters in this case. Apply that to all displays and you'll see that now our title, our summary and our date are all on one line because we've reduced the size of the summary. Okay, so if we go to the path that we've set for this view, which is /news, I'm going to do this. Let me save this first of all. So we've saved our view. And if we were to go to this path here, /news, which I've opened in this other tab, you'll see we've now got a page with news on it. So we've got our title, our summary, and our date. So there are a few clever things we can do. Well, there's a lot of clever things we can do. But for example, we can change the sort criteria. We can rearrange that. We don't want the authored on. We want to add a new sort criteria, which will be date published. And we can assort that in descending order down to the day and apply that. Now, because we've got a table for our format, we can look at the settings and we can sort by these fields. So we can make the title sortable, the date sortable, and we can also give it a default sort, which will be the date, and that will be descending. If we apply that and save this and then refresh this page, you will see that the date and the title are now sortable. Okay, one more thing before we wrap this up. If you wanted to, you could add a menu item for your page. And that will now appear in our menu. If we save that. Okay, that's how to set up a view in Drupal 9. We also created a block here, but I'm going to show you that in a separate video because I'm trying to keep these down to a few minutes. I don't think I've been successful this time, but views is a big subject. It's really, really powerful and something you really, really need to learn as soon as possible when you're getting into Drupal. Okay, thanks very much for watching. See you on the next one.